Hey there everyone, Mazrock here. Welcome to another video. Now this one here, this is, well, Fervent Strikes. What are they? What's been changed about them? What does this mean for you as a tank? I'm going to get into all of that, but first, my Patreon link is down below. Lots of cool stuff for any supporters down there if you wish to join. Twitch link down below. There's a community Discord link down below as well. Lots of cool people down there. Super fun, positive community. Lots of fun. And of course, please like, comment, subscribe. The amount of support I've seen here, especially in the last week, I'm like absolutely blown away. So thank you so much. So first things first, Fervent Strikes. What are Fervent Strikes? Fervent Strikes were a name given to an ability that when a tank gets out of the melee range of said ability, the caster, or the mob of this, typically in Mythic Plus, will turn and hit a melee player in range with this ability. And it got its name from, I think it's like an honor guard or something, I can't quite remember, where their ability was called a fervent strike. So it kind of got adopted this name with time and things like that, and this trend has continued going on. But the problem was, so we're going to do a little history lesson here. In Legion, now, I didn't play in Legion, but threat was apparently a joke. It was so easy to hold on to mobs and stuff that it was an absolute, you could just kite all day long and pull huge and just keep running away and just never have to worry about losing threat. They wanted to change that in BFA, which there was probably a little bit of an overcorrection, and in Shadowlands there was definitely proven to be an overcorrection for the simple fact that threat in Shadowlands has been absolute dog water, but we can talk about fixing threat in a different video. Now, when you're forced to kite, now this is, most people aren't put in a situation where they need to kite until much later or much higher keys, right? If you're in a +5, there's a decent chance you don't have to, unless it's necrotic week, which this is the week where you're going to notice, like, all right, I have like 40 stacks, I need to get out, and then all of a sudden a territorial blade beak or the matriarch will beak slice your closest melee. The worst defender here, and this one's bad, is the Halls of Atonement. The Depraved Darkblade, the deadly thrust frontal that they do, it still is a frontal, so melee need to not be on you, but they would literally just turn and on a fortified week on a 20, just one clock, just floor inspected melee. So they've made it so these fervent strikes don't happen, and as long as your melee DPS are well positioned to not be in front of these abilities, some of them anyway, some of them just kind of won't go off, or they'll still chase you, they won't kind of destroy your melee in the process. Because if you've ever been in a Halls of Atonement, you've absolutely been, you know, you've done a pull and you're like, okay, cool, all right, I got 45 stacks in necrotic, I got a kite, I leave, and then all of a sudden Havoc Demon Hunter just 100 to 0 instantaneously, and it's things like Fervent Strikes that do it. So we're going to go through the list of what's changed. The other side, fixed an issue. This is funny because this is designed. Territorial Blade Beaks and the Blade Beak Matriarch's Beak Slice, no longer Fervent Strike. Halls of Atonement, Deadly Thrust. Mist of Tyrna Scythe, the Matriarch Shred Armor. This is very good. This one here is very situational because you don't always get the Matriarch, but that Shred Armor, it shreds the tank. Like, oh my god, sorry for the bad pun, but like, for this, it hurts big time, and this would absolutely just global melee DPS if you weren't there to take it. Solia's Gambit has the Burly Deckhand's Haymakers. Now these are the things where, like, on bolstering or raging weeks is the reason why I separate these packs in Gambit, because these Haymakers hurt. So to know that they can't just turn around and just, you know, knockout punch one of your DPS, very nice to see. But the cast was also increased by 1.5 seconds from 0.75 seconds, meaning this is much more easily stunnable. Very nice change, I like it. And then fixed an issue where the Agent Captain Shield Bash would be Fervent Striked, and then they came back and they did more. One of them was the Deconstruct on very nice. The Headless Client's Discharge, also very nice, because this one here, they actually like to, like, bounce back. So if you're not close enough during that bounce back, they'll actually just start. So that pack is kind of dangerous. So very, very nice. In Plague Fall, we have the Cytotoxic Slash, the Plague Rocks Blade Beak, the Mire Soldier's Mighty Swing, and the Corroded Claws. This Corroded Claws, this is a nasty debuff. An absolutely nasty debuff that sometimes you gotta kite away. So this is really nice changes for Plague Fall. And then in Sanguine Depths, we have the Rockbound Sprites Animate Pebble. That one's not too bad. But the Severing Slice here is the big one for the Fervent Strike change. That's the big bleed that they put on the tank. So if you were already kiting because you had high necrotic, that Severing Slice would just decimate one of your DPS players. The Energy Slash is nice. It puts a debuff on a player, but it's honestly, and they take more damage from subsequent energy slashes. But honestly, this is a nice change, of course, but not super impactful. Zolramus, Bonecarver's Boneflay, Stitches, Vanguard's Boneclaw, Loyal Creations, Boneclaw, all nice Fervent Strike changes. And then we get back to Theater of Pain for Dessier the Decapitator Slam. This one I have seen just wreck people. The Shackled Soul's Soul Touch. This one here, that's another one. So you're typically pulling a lot of these guys at once, right? Because it tends to be split in two on the little hallway right entering the Lich pack. So that is one thing that's going to be nice there. Even the Breaker's Colossus Smash. If you're trying to, this is one of the big ads. So the next two, this one and the next one, are the big ads on your way to Zav, the PvP boss. And then Wreck the Harden's Unbalancing Blow. This last one, the Putrid Butcher's Chop and Devour Flesh. The chop is not fun. It hurts, but the Devour Flesh heals him based among the damage done. So, yeah. This you could definitely see him go from like 10% to 60 like real quick if you weren't in range to take this Devour Flesh, or if it wasn't stunned off or CC'd off. So these are a lot of nice changes. So what does this mean for you as a tank? This means that you get to kite more effectively when you have to, and not have to worry about your DPS being globaled, because we've all been there where you're like, okay, I'm in trouble. I don't have defensives. I don't have anything to heal. The healer's like pumping, but is obviously panicking a little. Let me just get some breathing room. Right? Get some breathing room. Another big one is in Halls of Atonement. If the stun doesn't go off on the Houndmaster and the Gargan's Enrage, well, you can't take those. Like, in lower keys, yeah, sure you can. But trust me, there gets to be a point of key where those things will just global you and you need to get away. But then suddenly one of the deadly thrusts go off and boom, Survival Hunter hits the floor. I'm just using random melee DPS as examples. I'm not calling anyone out. But so this means you're going to be able to kite more effectively and hold threat more effectively as well, because you're not having to worry about these things. Because if these things do damage to someone else other than you, that person's getting threat built on them. It's this weird little system. So that was an easy way, because the more a mob and a player would one-on-one each other, the faster you lose threat, right? Because obviously, I mean, if you're getting hit with a battle axe to the face, you're going to turn to the guy that's hitting you with the battle axe to the face and not the tank that, like, what's that guy doing running away? Ow! I'm hitting you now! Like, see, that's how it works, right? So with the 18% increase to threat, it's been a lot better. I do have a plan on a video on, you know, what to do to help fix threat in the future, if anybody's watching that can change these things, but we'll get to there when we get to there. But these Fervent Strike changes are very, very nice. Good steps in the right direction. Do I think Fervent Strikes have a place in World of Warcraft? Absolutely. And that should be a tank mechanic that tanks learn about as the levels of Mythic Plus increase and all that fun stuff. Should it be in every dungeon on so many mobs? No, this is a very good change. Out of nowhere, very good change. Which means that, to me, Blizzard's starting to have their finger on the pulse a little bit more. And they're listening to tanks a little bit more. And finding, not just listening to tanks, but finding creative solutions to help tanks, right? Because this isn't something that I've seen anyone be like, oh man, could they change these Fervent Strikes? But these Fervent Strikes changes are very, very nice, and they do address these weird little niche problems that tanks have been kind of talking about a little bit more. So, way to go. Love it. Please like, comment, subscribe. Thank you, everyone, for all the support. Have yourselves a lovely day, and happy tanking.